Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story, The Head Coach from me, Daniel. It's season 5, episode 4, and today we're back for what's definitely the most surprising episode of the series so far. Might be the most exciting from my point of view, but for you guys, you'll probably not be able to work out what's happened. If you can, please let me know down in the comments, because I'm not quite sure how it's happened either. So of course, we're back much earlier than planned. We're talking about surprises, and that can only mean one thing. We've got a job offer. We're 9th in League One. We're just about meeting expectations by 2 points merely. 3 points, down to 13th place Portsmouth. We're not doing anything particularly special, yet we've had 5 job interviews in the last month. We haven't applied for any jobs. As we said, we were quite enjoying our time at Scunthorpe. We've got 4 good young players, no intention of going anywhere whatsoever, but we have been getting offers galore from the Championship. Not job offers, but interview offers. So let's go to the Championship league table. I'll show you the ones we're talking about. We've now had interviews at 5 Championship clubs since the last episode, 1 League One club in form of Wigan. So we've now had interviews at Sunderland, QPR, where else is it? Preston, Charlton and Millwall, who are high flying, but their manager obviously left them. All of those job interviews in the last month or so. 4 of them unfortunately went with other managers, but today one of them has offered us a job, and not only have they offered us a job, there's an exciting thing about them as well. They're of course a bigger club than Scunthorpe, they're in the league above, they're doing a pretty decent job, so we've got to go and join them. It's realistic this save, don't forget we love Scunthorpe, but we've got to take a job offer that's realistic, and there's something special about this club too. We'll go and look at that in a moment. But firstly, I'm going to leave you on tenterhooks while we go and look at the end of our time at Scunthorpe, meet some of the players that have performed well, look at their improvement throughout the months. But let's look at the results quickly. You're with me for the Sheffield Wednesday and Peterborough games. We've had 6 since then. We lost 1-0 away at Walsall, another high flyer in the league. Look who scored the winner, the former fullback who was sold just after he joined. The director of football let him go, and we might regret that now, as he's cost us the 3 points there. Away at Shrewsbury in the FA Cup, we got a brilliant result thanks to Jamie Lindsay before a disappointing defeat in a Leasing.com trophy. Eddie Flanagan, the youngster, did get another goal though, a brilliant young player who we're sorely going to miss working with. But since then we finished our time at the club with a high 3 games unbeaten, 2 of them victories. First one away at Salford 1-0, Tom Bayliss with the early goal, then we held on. And then the other club that offered us an interview in League One, Wigan Athletic, we drew 0-0 against before a 1-0 victory against Sutton United in the FA Cup. We set up a 3rd round tie with Championship Blackburn, Jamie Lindsay getting the late winner in that one. Another good result for the club. So that leaves Scunthorpe in 9th place, meeting the expectation of top half finish, just 4 points off the top 6 and in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. But let's go and look at the squad quickly just to see who the superstars have been. You can see in ability order, Tom Neal, the youngster's the one that's improved the most, continues to be a rock at the anchor of our midfield. You can see we're getting much better at the back as well, and he's part of the reason for that. We've got Luke Matheson at right back who's come in, not actually doing particularly well development wise, but if we look at selection info order, the 3 players above a 7 are Lindsay, Neal and Burgess. Jamie Lindsay, the summer signing, a real super recruit, and Cameron Burgess has always been a rock for us, and we've really missed him when he's been on international duty. But we do want to look at the youngsters very quickly. We say goodbye to Eddie Flanagan already. Steve Chapman got his first goal for the club this season. A really good player who's developing technically too. And then the other 2 we've got, of course, Andy Cook, who's been a real superstar in the last year or so. Another youngster who's developing quite nicely. And then Ben Steele, who made 1 or 2 appearances this year, got his first assist off the bench as well. So they're all young players. We're really sad they're leaving. If this was a one club story, I'd be more than happy to stay at Scunthorpe. They're fantastic. They've got 4 really good young players. They're all going to make it at this level, probably higher as well. And we've got a really decent squad with a chance of making the playoffs. But this offer was just too good to refuse. So the club's a bigger club that's in the Championship anyway, so it was an offer we'd have to consider. But there's something special about them that we have to look at. And it's a situation in game that many of us wait for. If we go to our inbox, Charlton Athletic have offered us a job. And you can see the wage budget's used, as is the transfer budget. I think they've been taken over by a tycoon. We're going to go and have a look at them because they said there's plenty of resources to spend. They're a rich club. They've not been in the Premier League at any point. In fact, they only came up from League One a year ago. So that does suggest they've got a tycoon in charge. And Jason Yule, the current caretaker manager, a club legend who's now going to be there in a coaching capacity. So hopefully he'll still be at the club when we join. But there's a number of big names at the club we want to look at. And I guess their overall aims is to consolidate as a Championship club after a few years years yo-yoing between League One and Championship, and then eventually to get them back into the Premier League. We'd love to do that after they've had nearly 20 years away. So let's have a look at the job offer we've got. 11 grand a week. If you consider at the moment looking at our profile, let me just go and show you how much we're on at the moment. We're talking about life-changing amounts of money there. We're on £1.5 grand a week. You can see there actually we're wanted by Middlesbrough as well. That could have been another interesting one. A transfer budget of nearly 8 million, a wage budget of 900 grand a week. There's about 150 of that remaining. So we're really looking at a good director of football to get players in for us. And there's also lots of objectives we've got to meet. So signing players under 23, they've invested in the youth system heavily. So I'm hoping we can get some great regens, working within the wage budget, signing players and selling them for a profit still. Minimum 2-year contracts, that's a given for most bigger clubs. And then a maximum 1-year contract for players over 33. They're a little bit more lenient than some clubs. Scunthorpe, of course, and Halifax had it at over 30, so this makes a little bit of a difference for us. Now, at the end of this season, the current year, they want to finish in the top half of the Championship. I'm pretty sure we said mid-table in our interview. I'll have to go and check that, but they are 14th. I'll just see where they are in the table in comparison. They're only 2 points off the top half, so I'm not going to lose any sleep about that. Oh, it's very tight in the Championship. 18 points for bottom place Hull, 27 points for Birmingham in 8th, 9 points separating 16 sides. That's classic Championship stuff, that. But we're really looking forward to getting going here. Let's see what the other ones are. So we've got to reach the 5th round of the FA Cup, 4th round of the Carabao Cup, but they may well already be out in that. We'll have a look when we join the club. Grow the club's reputation, develop the best youth system in the country. That's a fantastic one to see over the next 2 years. I'd love to see players with regens galore. It could well keep us at Charlton and help us take them to the top. And next year they want to work towards getting towards the playoffs. The year after reach the playoffs. And in 4 years be in the Premier League. It seems like they've got a pretty stable plan in place. They're not expecting overnight success and turnover, but we know we're going to have to do well to impress the owners. So there's no point holding things up any longer. We'll say goodbye to Scunthorpe, a club we've really enjoyed managing. I was ready to be here for the long haul, to be honest, but this job offer came out of the blue, as did some of those other interviews, and this one's just far too good to refuse. So let's go and start the negotiations. We'll try and eke it up to 12 grand a week. We get a bonus for winning the Carabao Cup too, and we're going to go up to 25% wage rise and 25% wage drop too. We just want to make sure our wage stays as high as possible. It's important that we look after ourselves in this save too. So they've negotiated that. They're not giving us much wiggle room. They probably don't want to negotiate for me, to be honest. So we're going to try 11.5 instead. See if that gives us any more success. It does. 11.5 grand a week. We're going up from £1.5 grand to £11,500. An extra 10 grand a week in your pocket. What do you do with that? We'll certainly be getting a bigger house as well. I know it's in London. We might move just outside. I can even go back to Luton and get the train. I know you can go direct to Charlton, as I did it for the away game with Luton last year. So a fantastic trip for us. We'll be able to move back home, and we'll also be able to enjoy a higher level than we've managed at before. And of course, more money's not a bad thing either. So we're going to finalise that deal and go and accept the Charlton offer, and we'll be back in a moment to introduce the squad and club. So here we are, photographers at the ready, 60 grand play to Scunthorpe to us. We've also got a little bit of a bio now. We've obviously done some good work in our time. Named National League North Manager of the Season just 3.5 years ago. That shows you how far we've come. So the pre-season expectations were Charlton were top half. They're currently 14th, lost 3 in their last 5. So getting the morale back on side's a big thing, but that suggests we should have a pretty good squad to work with. They've got a 3-star reputation. The media prediction was 3rd. 3rd place is pushing it. They're still at the Valley. They've got great training and youth facilities, decent recruitment in place as well. Stephen Schumacher, the former Football League player, he's an assistant manager to us at the moment, and hopefully Jason Yule's still at the club somehow. We really want to work with him too. I'm so excited by this. They must have such a good squad to be rated to finish that high. Are there any players we recognise in there? To be honest, just Phillips, who's the goalkeeper, who was still there. And then at centre-half, they've got Stevens. That's the one who's currently at Southampton in real life. And that might be John Joe Kenny at right back, is it? It is. He's at Schalke in real life on loan from Everton. There's a few exotic names up front as well, so let's hope we've got some Brazilian or South American class. We know the club culture already. We've had a look at all the finer details of it. We've got to finish in the top half this year. There's no doubt about it now. So let's just skip through and try and do it. And we want to meet the squad and staff we got to work with. So there's the confirmation we've been hired as manager. A really exciting moment for me. You can probably tell I'm quite excited. I can't get the smile off my face. Lots of players out of contract. Our director of football will be worrying about that. They'll be splashing the cash on big money, I'm sure. Season expectations, top half, 5th round of the FA Cup. Maybe they are still in the Carabao Cup. Let's have a look. They're in the quarter-final against Manchester United. What a start this is going to be. We've gone from lower league football to Manchester United away in a few weeks. This is the stuff of dreams for a manager like me. We've made it to the highest level. What a fantastic bit of work. And we're now going to be in a Carabao Cup quarter-final. Oh, I'm so excited about this. What a move. How on earth did we get this? Can someone please let me know down in the comments? How did we get a move from just meeting expectations in Scunthorpe to this? What a fantastic moment. We've even won our last game against Nottingham Forest, a 2-1 victory, so back on track in the league as well. There are so many things to be positive about here. We just need the owners to have a little tiny bit of patience. I can see another name that's excited me there too. We'll get to that in a minute. It's a Football Manager young legend from previous years. There's over 200 grand a week to spend on the wage budget, 7.5 million transfer budget. We're so excited. We might as well say we'll reach the quarter final of the Carabao Cup because we know we're already there. And then we go to the tactics introduction. We'll skip that for now. We've got to meet the squad first to decide what we're going to play. We've got a few players there. Ollie Christian Selnars is the exciting one for me. He used to be a really exciting young player. I think it was over in Rosenborg, maybe in Norway. He was a really good talent, so we're looking forward to working with him. Alex Mowatt's there too, a legend from our Barnsley section of the head coach last season. FM19 player we worked with really well. So some plenty of good players across the board here, and I just want to go and meet the squad really desperately. But before that, let's quickly meet the staff. That's the important bit of this save too. We need a director of football to be there. It looks like, going on the numbers there, they've got loads of resources for staffing, but most of them must have left with the old manager because it's very threadbare at the moment. Is there a director of football in place? Not at the moment, so we're going to go and get the chairman doing that. It's a Spanish tycoon by the looks of things. Jason Yule's the under-23 manager, club legend, decent coach. Assistant manager Stephen Schumacher, very good across the board. Man management and motivating in particular, that's very good. The head of youth development is Mike Dove. What's he like? Very good across the board again, and a good coach. Someone that we're looking forward to working with greatly. If we have got the best youth facilities in the country, he's going to become the most important staff member at the club, and he's got a decent personality as well, so I think that'll probably do quite well for us. We've got a physio on £4 grand a week here somewhere. I can't quite work out why that is. He must be good at his job. He's not even that good. No idea why he is. And he's on a 2-year deal as well, so they can't get rid of him. Must be a family friend of the owner or something. And then finally, the chief scout, Steve Galan. A bit of a tongue twister, that one. It took me 3 attempts to get it out, but a really good judge of ability and potential, good negotiator, good tactical knowledge. He's going to be crucial to our success as well. The only other name that jumps off the page at me is Danny Butterfield, the former Crystal Palace right back if I'm right. He played for Southampton as well, didn't he? Yes, a few clubs back in the 2000s, most notably at Crystal Palace. Played for Charlton for a year as well. A good coach across the board. We've got some really good people here, and there's some good ones off the pitch that will help us develop. But finally, we're going to meet the squad. That's the reason we're all here. That's the reason we're all excited. Let's go and have a look at what we've got to play with at Charlton, and we'll put them in order of reports as well. See just how good some of these are rated. So let's put them in best position order. Fingers crossed there'll be some superstars here. Let me know as we go along what tactic you think we should play, which players you think are going to be stars. I can see some big names in the squad already, so I'm really excited to work with them. But you can let me know what you think the tactic should be. I'm recording this on the day it'll be released, so we're up to date. In 2 days we'll have our first game at the club, and that's going to be a massive moment for us. And then it looks like we're going to be back pretty quick for the Manchester United game, so we've got plenty of time to think about our tactic. But let's go and have a look at the keepers first. Dylan Phillips, the number one, the current number one in real life at Charlton, 28 years of age, 40 grand a week he's on, 3-star ability, 3-star potential, perfectionist, good goalkeeper, solid across the board, probably not a promotion contender, but a good one for us to work with for now. No complaints about him being number one. Alex Cairns is his backup at 30, another really solid goalkeeper actually, spent loads of years as first choice at Fleetwood, and now he's come to be the backup at Charlton Athletic. It looks like we've got 2 very good right backs and former Premier League men as well. John Joe Kenny, former Everton and Schalke man as we mentioned, had a year at Fenerbahce in this series too. 17 appearances here, brilliant right back. He looks really solid across the board. What a fantastic player he is, top class at this level. A fullback who likes to attack as well, that's something that will serve us well. But he's got to compete with Adam Smith, the current Bournemouth right back in real life. Had a year at Wolves in between here, and he's a really good fullback as well. How do you choose between people like that? You've got 2 fullbacks on 35 grand a week. That shows just how big a step up this is. What a fantastic set of players they are, and we've got 2 good right backs to lead us to glory. Having said that, the left-back's got an even better star rating. João Miranda must be a Brazilian, I presume there. Spanish-Brazilian, sorry. 23 grand a week, 4 grand ability, 4.5 potential. He is so good. He's a Premier League player. What a fantastic youngster. Only 23 years of age, under 21 international for Spain, 33 appearances for Barcelona B, over 50 appearances for Schalke, and he looks like a fantastic player across the board. Played nearly every game in the league this season. He's going to be our number one left-back. The backup for him is Silas Naka, just a backup, a solid player, good solid left back. He's not going to be any more than that, but good to have a solid backup in every position. We've got 4 centre-halves at the club, 2 of them rated a bit lower than I'd expect, but Matt Clark is injured at the moment, out for 3 to 5 weeks, 3.5 star ability, 4 star potential, former Derby man and Brighton he played a few games for, but a good solid centre-half. We look forward to working with him, left-footed, which gives us some balance as well. And then the other one's a big name in Jack Stevens, at 29, the former Southampton man, really solid across the board, 40 grand a week, now worth £8 million. This is a different level of players we're working with. 73 appearances for Southampton last, and now over 100 here at Charlton. 2 more relatively experienced names. Shane Duffy, the Ireland and Brighton player. He's just running out of pace now, but a good solid backup. Good player to have in a club as well, I'd imagine. And then Michael Hector, the experienced former Chelsea man who famously never played for them. Been at Fulham, Reading and the likes in the Championship. He's got plenty of experience if we need a backup player. The last one is a youngster with very good potential, 3-star ability, 5-star potential, Russell Stockford on loan from Southampton. Not the best in the air, but he's solid across the board. Another good option at centre-half. So we've got 2 good full-backs. It's just whether we play 2 or 3 centre-backs. But we won't be able to play wing-backs with those 2. Unless João Miranda, can he play there? He can actually, so we've got 2 natural wing-backs. So it might be that we end up with a back 5. We'll wait and see what the midfield looks like. I've always struggled with back 5s in Football Manager, to be honest, so let me know what you think of it, whether you think we should try it, should we stick with tried and tested, or do you know a way I can get the back 3 to work? Let me know in the comments what you think as we go along. Doesn't look like there's quite so many star players going forward, so that might turn our hand here and force a formation. So let's have a look at the central midfielders. Only 4 men there. One of them, Shandon Baptiste, a central midfielder. 3 international caps for England. Hold on a minute, we've got an England international in the team. Brilliant player, 20 appearances for Villa, 19 for Charlton now. I mean, he looks good, but how's he playing for England? 3.5 star ability, 4 star potential, really solid across the board. At Oxford in real life at the moment, what a fantastic young player. He's someone we can be very excited about, and we can expect to dominate the middle of the park too. And then the other one with the same ability is Ollie Christian Selners, the man we were excited about. A deep line playmaker, and he's just as good. Starting to lose his physicality at 29, but another international for Norway, and a key player in our squad this season. So if we go for the back 5, we're going to need 3 midfielders. Alex Mowat would naturally be the 3rd of those. He looks a good solid midfielder across the board. All of our midfielders, not really standouts in certain area, but really solid midfielders in every aspect of the game. And he's another one of those. Mowat can play as a box-to-boxer playmaker, or a bit further forward as a number 10 actually. So there's plenty of options with him in the side. He's made us pretty versatile if we're being honest. Then we've got a young midfielder to look forward to. Anthony Gomez Mancini, 2.5 star ability, 4 star potential. Says he's ineligible because he doesn't have a work permit, so we need to get him on a higher wage really. Young French player, I'm not quite sure how his 2.5 star ability actually. He's got a few good attributes and physically he's very good, but he's not up to scratch mentally or technically. He's not going to be playing for us anytime soon. And then the final one is Aaron Henry, another youngster, 2.5 ability, 4 star potential. The most important thing about him, you can see, he's come through the Charlton Youth Academy, so he's a player that the fans are going to love, want to see doing well. He's driven, he's not the best mentally aside from that. Good passer of the ball though, so he's good there, and technically he's got a little bit of promise, so we'll be trying to get him a few games off the bench. We won't have much choice anyway, we've not got many central midfielders, so he's going to be automatically our first choice backup. On the wings, there seems to be one superstar. It's Petro Delgado on the right. He's transfer listed for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. He's a very good player. He scored in that win we just watched. Inverted winger off the right. 3.5 ability, 3.5 potential. A 26-year-old Chinese international. So I'm guessing he spent most of his career in the Chinese Super League. He did Shandong over 100 appearances. Before that, Sporting came through at Inter. Plenty of big clubs he's been involved at. But here at Charlton, he's finding a name for himself. Not the quickest for a mid-20s winger, but of course he cuts in. He's really skillful, so I'd expect him to be a bit of a handful. He can play in the number 10 role really well, can cover up front if we need be as well, so we might end up playing him as a number 10 long term, but for now it looks like we need a winger at the club. And on the left-hand side, that man should be Zegrova. Let's just see what his injury's like. Only 1 to 3 days. He'll be back soon. Edon Zegrova, £4 million, 22 grand a week for the cost of an international, 3-star ability, 4-star potential, came here via Genk and Basel, he's played for some good clubs along the way, and a decent winger who'll be able to do a job for us. But it certainly looks like an area where we are a little bit weaker, so we are going to have to worry about that in January. Hopefully our director of football will notice anyway and get players in. The backups as it stands, Bright Asai Samuel, not the best finisher, he's decent enough because he's quick, and he has got versatility to play on either wing, has experience at QPR, but he's not the best player in the world, so we've got to be careful with him. He's not going to be able to help us to the Premier League. The other one is Emiliano Rigoni, a 30-year-old Argentinian, another decent player, but he's not got much going for him, so we're going to have to be careful not to give him too much football, as that's going to harm our chances of moving up the league. Then the last one is a young Lone Star, Sam Greenwood, with 2.5-star ability, 5-star potential on loan from Leeds, looks like he's going to improve quickly, can play on either wing or up front, so it just gives us that versatility again, another player we'll probably use off the bench. Then up front, 2 striking options. One of them looks sensational. Matías Arezzo, 21 years of age, 4-star ability, 5-star potential. Oh, what a striker. 53 grand a week. 4 caps for Uruguay. He's taken the mantle from Luis Suarez. An advanced forward on attack. Brilliant finisher. Good in the air. Brilliant physicality as well. And he's even composed and good off the ball. He's got everything you'd expect. His average rating this year is really good. We want to get him scoring more goals though. Via River Plate and China he's come to the club. And I hope he'll be here very long term. And then alongside him, we've got a Coma Lois Openda, I think that is. 3-star ability, 4-star potential, a French young under-21 international. £9 million he's worth, and again, a good pressing forward. Really good off the ball, good pace, good physicality, strong mentally and a decent finisher. Not quite as good, but a decent player, and he's come here via Club Bruges. I am thinking 3-5-2, but we haven't got any backups up front. We could play the 3-4-3, the Antonio Conte style, with 2 wingers off a striker, but I'm not convinced by the wingers either, so I'm not sure what we're going to do there. Plenty of pondering for me to do. Let me know your suggestions down in the comments, and very quickly we'll check the under-23s for players. There could be a superstar in here, of course, but I don't think there's anyone rated more than 2-star ability. But there is a young striker who could be a backup. Michael O'Neill, 4-star potential. He looks very good actually, so he's someone we'll get involved in the first team. Another player who can help us along the way. And then hang on a minute, I've just gone to the under-18s. 2 more superstars for us to look at. Lots of players with high potential, but 2 of them already have 2-star ability. Another striker in Lucas Smith, not quite ready for first team yet. Ian Edwards, he's a good attacking midfielder. Again, could be a backup if needed. Probably not quite good enough yet in truth. But some really good players here across the board. And I'm so excited to getting started with Charlton. So our first game at the weekend, let's have a look to see who it is. MK Dons at home, should be a game we're winning. MK Dons right down near the bottom. 23rd place at the moment, so a game that should be a good settler of the nerves for us, and a really big one as we look to move forwards. And we need to do well in those first 2 as well, because then we've got Burnley, Manchester United and Watford, then Middlesbrough who are chasing us as well. Millwall, we know, are up in the top 6. That's a massive month after these next 2 games, so we've got to get off to the good start. Hopefully the new manager bounce will come. The dynamics is average, the managerial support not bad. They're on the fence, they just want to see us get going, and hopefully we can win them over pretty quickly. But overall, what a fantastic surprise this episode's been. How on earth have we got this job? I still don't quite know. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the move. Of course we've made the right decision. It's realistic. We're getting a big club, big opportunities to try and get to the Premier League, and we have to make that move. We've timed our wage by nearly 10. You have to do that as a manager. We can't say, oh, we would have loved to stay at Scunthorpe and see how it went. That just doesn't work, unfortunately, because this is a save about being realistic. We can go and get a lovely big house back home in Luton. We can travel down to Charlton in under an hour each day. So all good news for us. We're happy as Larry at the moment, but that could well change to our start to the spell with Charlton. So 2 big episodes coming up in the next couple. Our first game in 2 days' time against MK Dons will be live, and then we'll be back for that Carabao Cup tie at Old Trafford. We'll have a game either side, 2 former Premier League teams, Burnley and Watford, both up in the top 6. So one of those will show either side of it too. Hopefully we'll be getting settled in at that point. Let me know what you think the tactics should be too. But if you did enjoy this episode and big job change, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I'm really excited about it and hope you are too. If you haven't already, or you're a Charlton fan just joining along, please do subscribe for daily FM20 content from both of my long-term stories. This one will be back in 2 days' time with our first game at the club. In the meantime, we'll have our Dorking Wanderers transfer special tomorrow. It's a big point in both series, to be honest. We're starting season 7 with Dorking in that one. Got a massive action and revolution over the summer, and there'll be loads of transfer news to report in the next episode, so expect a slightly longer extended one there. Finally, I'm part of a podcast that does matchday vlogs and interviews. reviews, and you can see the link to the matchday vlogs in the eye above. A massive thank you for your support with them ones. The numbers on some of them have been absolutely ridiculous, and I can't thank you enough for giving them a try, and we really appreciate your feedback too. But a massive thanks for watching this one. I really do appreciate it. I hope you're as excited for this Charlton stint as I am, and I hope to see you next time for our first game at the club, where hopefully we'll be able to win a home banker.